Hello, everybody. I am Mel Barrett.
I'm Rebecca Lavoie.
And welcome to Something's Off, a true crime podcast where this week we are recapping every day of the Kouri Richins trial. I did a big recap over the weekend while you were getting Coco Vaughn made for you. And it was a 3-hour long stream about the first week of the Kouri Richins trial.
That's wild. And just so you know,
Yeah.
I just froze a little bit. So if my internet gets wonky, I'll just go back to my phone again like I did the other time.
Okay.
So yeah, so
That's
much
pretty cool.
going on. I'm so happy that you filled everybody in on that, because this case it's interesting, but it certainly doesn't have like the entertainment value of other cases we've talked about. So I think it does need a little bit more like explanation as to why some of the issues around it are interesting, as Toby Ball would say.
Yes. I would like to say, I would just like to address this right off the top. Everyone hates my new backdrop.
I don't hate it.
I've not blinged it out yet. That's the problem. I just put up the panels. These are sound panels. I'm not in my shower. These are like felty sound panels.
They're cuter than mine. I was thinking about getting lighter ones for mine. Yours are cuter. They have a cute little like Sears photography studio aspect to them that I like.
Great.
Did you do the face like the?
Oh, I did. I had the one that had the second face up in space. Did you
I love
have that one?
No, I never had that one because my mom would always get like the cheap
off.
pictures. I had to beg her to get the retouching when I had acne. It was a whole thing. It was a whole trauma.
Got it.
I'm not over it.
Yeah. So it was a 3-hour long stream. We had a lot of fun. I have had a request. I should say this right off the top. We'll get into our housekeeping, but right off the top, I have had a request to do the Brian Higgins voice on every episode. But the only way I'm going to do the Brian Higgins voice is if we get to a certain number of likes on our own video on this one. And then everyone can post random comments and I will choose one at random and I will do the Higgins voice. Last time I did the Higgins voice in, I think it was Shakespeare. So I'm going to say,
how many likes do you need?
Last time we asked for 50 and we went well over that. So let's do 75 to start.
Okay.
75 likes.
Where do you see the likes? Where do you see how they are?
It's on the main page. Oh, okay. And also I do have a separate monitor today. I managed to expand my monitor into the iPad. So I hopefully won't freeze on you guys. But yeah, we're upgrading over here a little bit. That's just awesome. Like piecing it together. I'm piecing it together.
I'm downloading the StreamYard app just in case I need to use it.
Okay.
And I don't want to be a guest. Jesus Christ. The app is currently for guests only. I guess I have to do it online.
Here, I can send you the. Do you want me to send you the link?
Yeah, text me the link to be a host so that if it happens, shower stall. People are so mean. Yes, just send me the link to invite me like you invite me to this.
I know, but
no. Just send me the link and then I'll be logged in on my phone, so I will automatically be a host.
Are you sure?
Yeah, just text me the link. Trust me, I did this last time. Remember?
I don't know.
I did it last time. It was fine. It was totally fine.
Okay.
Oh, I'm already on. I already have
it.
See, I already have. You don't have to do anything. So I'll just use this.
Perfect. Because I'm like, oh shit, now I got to go find this. I don't know. I am so glad that you all are here. I see all of my favorites. Amanda.
Who are your favorites? You have favorites?
Amanda, I do. Amanda, Tony, D Cools. I mean, you're all my favorites, of course. Dakota girl. So I played a little bit of Emily D. Baker's stream when she was covering Kouri. She's so funny. I fucking love her so much. And the funniest part about, I'll just tell this really quick story. I was going back and forth and trying to make it work in a different, browser and doing all this stuff. And we were probably a couple hours into the stream and I had pulled up Emily's stream and I forgot to add it to our screen for the audience to watch.
Oh, nice.
But I didn't realize I had done that. So I was responding to Emily and they were just watching me. And so I was laughing at her and it was dumb. But Dakota girl was mentioning that she thinks that Emily and I should do some commentary together. And I would love that. I would love for Emily to do some commentary with us. So I would love to have Emily on our show. I would love to go on Emily's show. I think she's hilarious. She's super smart and she makes me laugh, but she's also a total badass. And so, yeah, I love it.
I first learned about her, and I'm late. I'm late to the whole LawTube thing. I didn't really follow anybody on YouTube at all until the second trial in the Karen Read case. But I first watched her doing the Alec Baldwin trial.
Mhm.
And she
Mhm.
was in her fucking mind.
Yeah. Yeah.
So great watching her have these, like, huge, epic,
Mhm.
like, meltdowns, but she's really smart, so that would be really fun, I agree. I
Yeah.
agree.
Amanda says Emily should come on here or on Newslight. I bet Peter from Lawyer You Know might collab with you guys too. I don't know. He's very, very, very outside of the community, I think, and I don't mean that in a bad way. I mean, he keeps his distance because he's a practicing lawyer. He does a lot of civil stuff, and I would love to have him on. I just don't know. He's so big. I just don't know if he'd be like, "Sure, I'll come on your little channel." I don't know.
Yeah.
Maybe we'll
Well,
ask him. I messaged Melanie. I haven't heard anything back yet. I would really love to have Melanie Little on. Somebody posted a comment and they were like, "You guys need to stop bashing Melanie Little for interrupting the court stream." I was like, we love Melanie Little. What the fuck are you talking about? I didn't say that, but I basically was like, people really need to, like, before they speak and comment off the cuff, they either need to do their research or they need to listen a little bit more. It drives me nuts when that happens, you know?
I think they need to
Ugh.
think about what they would say to us if they were standing right in front of us, and that's what I try to
Mhm.
do, except with, like,
Yeah.
Cowboy Fan 105. I
Fuck
actually, I do say
Cowboy
to
Fan
him
105.
I actually do say to in the show what I would say to him if I saw him. Yeah, I think that Melanie's channel when she's doing live trial streams, it's not for me. I think she's
Right.
really smart, but I just get anxious about what I'm missing.
Mhm. Mhm.
So that's why. Like today I was watching the Kouri Richins trial and I was watching it on that East Idaho News YouTube.
Yep.
And it was perfect. Right before the trial, the cute little earnest guy who looks very
Yep.
Mormon comes on and is like, "Today we're going to do blah, 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 blah. And today is blah, blah." And I was like, "Oh gosh, I hope this isn't it." But then it was just the stream and the audio was really good. Oh, I have a tip out there for if anyone who streams is watching this, which you're probably not. But you may have noticed, viewers, that sometimes when you're watching like the WCVB or Fox 25 stream, like the audio is really good. And then when you're watching it on a streamer stream, the audio is really bad.
Mhm.
That is because that streamer likely has their Zoom set up so that it's getting rid of background noise, which is the default setting on Zoom. And that
Mhm.
what that happens when you do that is when someone is interrupting someone, it goes like boop boop boop. But what happens when you're playing video or audio and that setting is on, it totally degrades the audio and makes it like
Yep.
pulse, makes it go like.
Yes.
So they need to, if you know a streamer and that's happening to them, tell them to go into
Yeah.
their audio settings in their Zoom and turn it on to full room noise for it's like for
Yep.
musicians. That's the one you want. It makes me crazy. It's like the simple audio thing, and
Yeah.
I'm like, I just want to jump into that person's living room and fix this for them because this is a very unpleasant experience. I am very precious about the way audio should sound.
I know. Well, you've been doing it for a long time. One of the
Yeah.
reasons why I built this little 3-panel flat backdrop thing that I built is because I didn't like the way I was sounding. I sounded very echoey, very tinny, and I feel like these little sound panels just are enclosing me a little bit, and I like the way it sounds
I
now.
like the light coming through and the little cracks. It looks like you're like in the transporter on Star
Yeah,
Trek. I love
or
it.
I'm in a bathtub that's about to take off.
You're not in a
Um,
bathtub. You're
oh, frozen, frozen. We lost you. Let's see. She'll come back in just a second.
I'm here.
Oh, you're here. Um, oh yeah, we are very good friends of Defense Diaries,
I don't know
Sean
about very
Parker.
good friends.
We
I
are, we
know
love
him.
them. No, we love them. Remember
Yeah.
we were at the conference
Yeah, I have
together in
acquaintances. I don't know about
Dedham.
very good friends. We're acquaintances. I don't know.
I feel like we're good
You make
friends.
friends faster than I do. We're
That's true.
acquaintances.
I make best friends. He has had some valuable insights on this trial and many other trials, including the Foss trial. We have been getting a lot of requests to continue talking about the Foss trial that I told you about, Georgia versus Foss, a couple
The
weeks
wrong
ago.
oh, the la
Oh, you froze again. So I think that, I mean, I covered it on the In Between podcast, and I would really love to continue, to be involved because I just think that, that was a bad case and he got a raw deal. And I do hope that he has some good lawyers for his appeal. But anyway, as far as our housekeeping goes, we have had a couple of new orders on our merch store, which I'm really excited about. And if you
I'm
don't
gonna come
know,
back on my phone because this is making me crazy.
okay, I'll just keep doing some
You keep
housekeeping
talking. I'll be
stuff
right back.
then. All right, all right. So for those of you who don't know, we actually finally put out some merch. Not finally, we've only been doing this for a few months, but um Yeah. Oh, you know what? I'm probably freezing too because I am going to a different tab. I'm sorry, you guys. Let me do that on my extra monitor, which I really have to get used to over here. But yeah, so we finally got these. Oh, I can't type. Well, that's stupid. We finally got our merch store set up, and I don't know. I'm excited about it. Some of y'all have said you're excited about it, and I can't wait to share it to you with you. But I need to pull it up first. So hold on. I can't wait to have the other monitor hooked up because this is not working for me. Let me see if I can pull up a different. Yeah, I'm excited to have a different monitor. I don't like this setup. I don't like using the iPad. Um, but yeah, so we've had a couple of new merch orders in. I am excited about the things that I designed. I know that they're we're going to add a lot more. Right now it's mostly like t-shirts and cups and things like that, but it's fun and I think you'll like it if I can find it. There it is. So let me share my screen with you until Rebecca comes back. Share screen. Share. Okay. This is all very I never had to present anything through like Zoom or anything like that, so this takes me a little while. I didn't freeze. That's fascinating because I had to go use a different tab. So here is our new little merch store. And I made this cup for Amanda because she wanted it. It's our I'll Allow It cup. It's a little camp mug, which is my favorite. And then we got the You're Hot crop top hoodie. These are like Bev wine chuggers. I'll allow it. We got some cups, we got some hats. Oh, we got the dance socks, which I think are hilarious. But there's a bunch of stuff on there. And so if you want some stuff, that's where it is. I'm excited about it. Oh, Rebecca's moving to her desk upstairs. Okay. That's good. So yeah, we got merch out. We have been getting, I don't know what happened over the past few days, but we got a bunch of tippers coming in trying to help me get a monitor, which is really helpful. We did find a monitor in the house. Actually, we found a really nice monitor that Lindsay, my partner, used to use for work that she no longer uses. So as soon as I get my little HDMI cord hooked up, that will be much easier than using this dumb iPad. But for now, I'm going to use the dumb iPad, and I have to figure out how to make it work because it doesn't like me. Oh, because you know why? Because oh my God. I'm so tech challenged sometimes. I used to be really like up on all new technology, and now I'm just like, I'm definitely a boomer. Definitely a boomer. So thank you guys so much for all the tips. It actually has helped quite a bit because I've had to set up some new accounts, and I've had to set up, getting or dealing with the monitor stuff. And I've been making this backdrop because I have been streaming like out of the bedroom, and it makes it really difficult when we're on for a couple of hours because no one can really walk in. I mean, they can, but then it's weird to have somebody walking around in the background. So I wanted to set this up. I wanted to make the sound better. So thank you guys. You've helped me build this little makeshift thing, and I really appreciate you. Um, let's see. And what else? Oh, I have a new show which I've been telling you guys about, but it airs every Wednesday at 7 p.m. It's called Newslight with Mel Barrett. It's my news and politics show. So I've been doing that every Wednesday night for the past few weeks. I have a new guest on tomorrow. I'm really excited about. Marty will be joining me to talk about, unfortunately, why we have started a war with Iran. Oh, here comes Rebecca. Hello.
Hi, sorry about that. Welcome to
No
my
worries.
desk upstairs.
No worries. I love your desk upstairs. It's one of my favorite places.
Well, thank
I
you.
like your
Thank you very
background.
much.
Yeah, it's real cute. I was just going over merch stuff
Nice.
and talking about the tipper, saying thanks to everybody. Also talking about my news light show. Oh, you know what we haven't talked about?
What?
Your thoughts on the Nightline episode. Do you have any
Oh, the
thoughts?
Nightlight episode was so good. I hope you're happy with how
Okay.
it turned out.
I'm okay with it. I mean, I was a filmmaker. I understand that there's a lot of stuff that was on the cutting room floor. Like, I get that we just like when I went to New York, to do the interview. That was a 7-hour long straight all the way through interview, and they used maybe like 2 minutes out of it. So, I mean, I get it. It happens all the time, but there was a lot in there. There was a lot that I wanted to talk about, but we just didn't have the time. But I thought it turned out pretty well. I thought Nancy Grace is a flaming lunatic. But she also helped made the point for us about all the guys and all how heinous they were, and that they were all in prison and now they're all out. And then there's Pam in prison still. So I don't know. I thought it turned out well. I didn't like the way I looked. That's the only thing.
You didn't like the big waffle sweater? You didn't warn me about the waffle part.
I know. I mean, the mustard yellow was bad enough as far as I'm concerned.
The waffle part was astonishing. I loved it. It was like very thick waffle. It was like this big. It was like a robe.
Yeah, it wasn't great. I didn't like it. The producer literally took it off her back and put it on me, and I was like, oh, all right, that's what you guys want. Oh, thanks so much. That's very sweet of you. Good one, Brittany.
You're hot.
You're hot. So yeah, the Nightline special went really well, and we're waiting. There's supposed to be a new hearing. They had to postpone it from the 27th of February. Hopefully it'll be in the next couple of weeks. So yeah, we'll see what happens. I mean, you know how it goes. It's a lengthy process, and New Hampshire really hates this woman, so I'm not sure what's going to happen. It's hard to have hope, but we'll see what happens. So that's where we are. The interesting thing for me in covering this Kouri Richins trial is that I have been noticing they've been using a lot of audio in the trial, and there's a lot of transcripts that go with that audio. And I've noticed that the judge is like, is this a certified transcript? And they're like, yes, sir, it is a certified transcript. Hey, Briscoe. And that was never asked in the Pamela Smart trial. So
yeah. Well, I have to say, this trial that we're watching now is very straight. It's very much. I keep thinking, like, imagine if this judge were the judge in the Karen Reed case, how different it would be.
He's so good. I'm calling him Judge Daddy. He's so hot, and he's got such a great voice. I love him so much. I couldn't wait for you to see him because I was like, oh yeah, Rebecca's gonna love this guy.
He definitely sang bass in his college a cappella choir. That's for sure.
Something. He's like, hello. He's got such a deep voice.
He's sonorous, is what he is.
I know. Oh, don't worry. He's so smart.
Somebody wants a puppy photo bomb. Yes, we're going to have a lot of puppy photo bombs because I'm actually in my house right now. You can see Briscoe's little tail. I'm actually, they both got haircuts today, and they're super freaking cute. Look at my Twitter to see pictures of their haircuts.
Oh my God, they just look like little chunky floofs. I love it. It was very, Amanda said it was very chartreuse-ish. I thought chartreuse.
She means your sweater. Chartreuse is like a greenish yellow.
Yeah, green, like the color of absinthe, isn't it?
Yes. Okay. Here's Stuart. Here's Briscoe. How cute is he? Oh
my God, look at his eyes. Oh my God. He's wearing too much eyeliner.
Well, that's why he's named Briscoe. We named him after Lenny Briscoe from Law and Order, who has those big eyes with the bags underneath. Mm-hmm. See, he always looks at me. He won't look at anything other than me. Look over there.
I know, because he loves you. Hi, Briscoe.
Yes. There's Mel. Anyway, he's the cutest dog in the entire
his
world.
Little bandana.
I know, they both have bandanas. So here comes
we had
Stuart.
A lot of dogs in the live the other night, and there were lots of cute ones.
Stewie. Lazarus. Now Lazarus will pick him up. Ah.
Oh, buddy.
Doesn't he look cute too?
Oh my God. Look at that fluff butt.
This is the dog that I keep saying is going to die any second now. He looks so cute. I know. He's such
Look at him.
His breath smells like the dumpster behind a Red Lobster, but he's a prince in another way.
I understand that. I understand that. All right. So here's the thing with the episode today. We're going over the Kouri Richins stuff, the trial from today, which was kind of all over the place. And that's the way most of the days have been for this trial. There were a couple of interesting things, but it was very bland sort of tech stuff, really quick witnesses, and then some not so quick witnesses. And then if we can get through that in time, we actually have a lot of updates from Karen Reed adjacent stuff that we're going to get into. So
we sure do.
Why don't we, do you have anything else you would need to add for housekeeping stuff, stickers, merch, thank yous, anything like that?
I trust you did all of it. I know people are starting to get their stickers. I'm very excited about that. Oh, okay. So just so you know, when I am filling out the envelopes, I literally sit in front of my spreadsheet and like fill them out by hand. Right. And I guess I
wrote somebody's name twice, but I wrote somebody's name and then I wrote somebody else's name, but I put the person before them's address on it. So this poor person has gotten stickers like 3 times. And today she got stickers meant for somebody else at her address. So just so you know, let me see who it is so I can tell you who it is in case you're watching right now. Lisa tells me that she got the stickers for Steph G. So if your name is Steph and your last name starts with G, you will get your stickers. I'm just going to Venmo Lisa the money for a stamp so she can forward them to you.
That's very sweet.
Yes.
That's really funny.
Yes, that's what happens. And, I feel bad, but that's what happens.
So, Kim Jim, no, the new setup does not mean no more Ruby snores. She is right here. She's sleeping. I'll probably bring her up in a little bit when she wakes up a little bit.
Oh, we're about to get a Kevin bomb.
Kevin bomb.
There he is.
Kevin.
He's feeding the dogs.
Did he get a new haircut?
He got a haircut like yesterday or the day before, yeah.
Nice fade, Kev. That's a good fade, Kevin.
Mel says nice fade, Kevin. He doesn't realize that the mic that I'm talking on is my camera mic. So like if he says hi, you'll be able to hear him. But yeah, he's right behind me. There he is, peeking through the jungle.
Hi, Kev.
Say hi to the people, Kevin.
Show us your haircut.
Did you see what he just did? No. He took it out.
He loves it.
Oh, he put this in his pants.
Yeah, he loves it. It's a giant bone. Kevin Flynn, everybody, and his giant dick.
Yes,
thank you, Kevin.
Yes. Congratulations, ladies. Back off. He's all mine. Anyway, yeah. So can we talk about the newest in the Karen Reed adjacent gossip stuff? Because it's getting.
You want to start off with that, or do you want to do Kouri Richins?
I think we should start off with this because it will take less time.
Karen or Kouri?
Let's start with Karen. I think it'll take less time.
Okay. Take it away.
Because everybody is talking about this one thing, which is bananas. And I got a really, really interesting conversation about it on Reddit today. Hold on, I'm going forward to. So somebody shared Aidan Kearney, aka Turtle Boy's entire phone extraction from his criminal case that he received in early 2024 when he got out of jail. He got the extraction from his phone on a thumb drive. His lawyers got it. He got it. And somebody has now shared that entire phone extraction with Kate Peter. Now, if you remember, Kate Peter is formerly known as, I hate saying this so much, crusty panties. Oh, I fucking hate saying that. Gives me the douche chills. Who used to work for Kearney a long time ago. They had a parting of the ways that was very upsetting to her. And she has basically dedicated, I'd say 90% of her life since then to trying to destroy his life. And if he's pro something, she's automatically against it. Like if he's pro pizza, she's anti pizza. He's pro Karen Reed, she's anti Karen Reed. Like Kelsey Fitzsimmons, she's sort of like doing some anti Kelsey Fitzsimmons stuff. Like you can't get, she's just, when I tell you she's dedicated 90% of her life to this, look at her Twitter. She tweets under Mafia Masshole or Masshole Mafia. And it is 24 hours a day for the last several years. It's wild. Anyway, she's obsessed. This is her reason for being, is to talk about Turtle Boy / Aidan Kearney. And it's funny because I always think some of these folks just need other interests, do they cook? Do they garden? Do they take their dogs for walks? It doesn't seem they do because they're on their computers and their Twitter constantly. And they're never, or streaming, never doing anything else. So anyway, I mean, that I had to take a break in watching the Richins trial today because I had to watch General Hospital. I have other interests. So anyway, so somebody shared this entire phone extraction, which is 127,000 pages. With Kate Peter. And now she has been posting selected screenshots of what she calls, smoking guns and bombshell type things. And it's like Yannetti and Jackson communicating with him when he sends him stuff or whatever. It's like, and all I can think about is the people who communicated with him who didn't ask for this and aren't a part of this. Their stuff is now being poured over by a dozen people who are going to gleefully share it all on the internet. It's wild. Now, it's a lot of discourse around who it was that shared these text messages with Kate Peter. And there is one central suspect. Can you guess who the central suspect is?
Yeah, Meredith.
Yes, Meredith O'Neill, Aidan's former girlfriend that they parted ways like at the end of last summer. And there's been a lot of drama around the two of them. Since then, he did some streams about her. Then she went on this. She's now spending 95% of her life thinking about him and tweeting about him too. Like, he's very good at making people very mad at him. You got to give him credit. Very talented. Okay, so Meredith O'Neill is the central suspect here. And she's a likely suspect because there's documentation of her having done stuff like this to other people, including her ex-boyfriend, who she did some stuff to and had to and got him fired and had to write letters to his employer apologizing and all this. It's wild, and restraining orders and all that stuff. So there's some documented history here. And given her discourse since they were shared, I don't not believe it was her. But let me just tell you for a second why she has them. So they used to date, as you know. And Aidan Kearney has been very public about the fact that he was not a good boyfriend. Was not, he apparently has a partner now that he likes very much, but he has admitted. And one of the reasons why people always say, you're an Aidan apologist. I'm like, no, it's just I know the truth because he's not afraid to say it, even if it's ugly.
Right.
So toward the end of their relationship, when things were waning, is when all this happened. But when his legal case was happening, he got this thumb drive with his phone extraction on it, and it's not compatible with a Mac, which is the kind of computer that he has. Yes, as Journey as a piece pointed out, the reason they were in a relationship was because she corresponded with him when he was in jail for 60 days, which I find problematic.
We've talked about it.
It's a power dynamic thing there that is, I think, not great when people outside of jail or prison form relationships with people inside and they have no access. And the person outside has all the power. It's a strange dynamic. Anyway, so they were together for the first trial. They were the second trial. He gets arrested in 2024 or late 2020, Christmas 2023. He gets these in 2024. They're not compatible with his computer. So he, at some point, asks her to download it to her computer. So she's trying to, and there's these text messages between them that I have seen where she basically says, this is taking forever or whatever, and she packs it up, and who knows. Yeah. So then fast forward to I don't know, last summer or whatever, when things weren't going great, or last spring. I'm not 100% sure when it happened, but she now has access to his extractions, and she starts texting them to him or talking about them, right? It's very clear that she has them. And they have a text exchange that I have in front of me where basically he accuses her of going through his phone extractions and says, I am having so much anxiety. I'm scared of what you're going to do. This is after they broke up or whatever. Yep. And she says, I didn't go through it. I stumbled on it last week when I was specifically looking for background on a woman that she knew had been messaging him. I don't care about your past because you assured me none of this was your present. I deserve to know you were lying. I'm not mad about this person other than I wish you didn't lie to me. So she quotes stumbled upon them. Okay. So we know that she has them. She's been using them. It's not, I want to say, unlike a pattern of behavior that has been published on the internet of her in the past. So, and the online behavior has been escalating to the point where, she was sharing, she shared the recording that he made of Karen Reed in the phone call they made where Karen was really mad at him. She shared that and it got out on the internet. And now she is literally collaborating, allegedly, with his number one person who hates him the most.
And also someone this is the same person who confronted Karen Reed in court last week.
She's friends with Jen McCabe. She's in charge. Yeah, she's in charge of the McCabe Albert PR internet campaign. This is who this is. She's their James Carville, if you will. Some of you are too young to know who James Carville is. He's this nasty old man who looks like a shrunken apple.
He's still on. They still drag him out onto the news shows and he yells at everybody.
He was a Democratic strategist for Bill Clinton and has never done anything successful ever since. Yet he keeps being called this expert on political messaging.
He's the guy. It's the economy, stupid.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. So she's the James Carville of the McAlbert online campaign and in real life campaign, because she would pick up Jen McCabe and they'd follow him around. They would, she'd be outside the courthouse wearing blue with signs yelling that Karen's a murderer. So she has them now, and she is tweeting them in small batches. And it's super fucked up. And for those people who say like he deserves this because he's done this with Lindsay or whatever, you know who does not deserve it? Everybody else who's in that 127,000
including
cases.
The police officers who gave him information or, were talking to him, because those are confidential sources, including lawyer confidentiality, including anyone else he was talking to. If she decides to put out personal, like really personal stuff about him because she has access to it now, like, what's the recourse here? Like, what is going to happen? Like, how is any of this legal?
I don't think so. Here's the thing. I can give you my opinion. My opinion is a lawyer can send a cease and desist. They can do certain things, right? However, there is like documented communications and evidence that he allowed his ex-girlfriend, who he loved and trusted at the time, to help him get this stuff off of his thumb drive so that it could be, searchable or whatever. So she could very easily say, if he goes to the cops, she could very easily say, he gave it to me. Look, I have all these texts that show that he gave it to me. But it's not. I mean, there's a lot about it that is dubious. It is, some of these things are supposed to be sealed. Some of these, it's bad. It's just really, really bad. There's attorney-client privilege stuff. There's obviously source stuff. It's bad. I don't want to speak to like the particular statutes that it might affect it, because I just think this is so unbelievably murky. And ugly. It's just really, really ugly. And
really ugly.
Yeah. I'm not a fan.
This misnomer said, I know I'm not involved in their business, but this gives me the worst anxiety. Meredith needs to stop. That is exactly how I feel. People need to stop this shit. They just need to stop. Agree, Amanda.
It's so boring. It was so boring for so long. And now this thing happened, and it's like, it's not boring, but for the worst reason.
Who are you talking about, Kayla? Who's being paid by Palantir?
She says Kate Peter.
Oh, because it says he's being paid by Palantir.
Oh. Yeah, I don't know. Sorry. I don't know. I don't know what she's talking about.
I
there's all this talk about Kate Peter being a licensed PI during the Karen Reed case and working for that guy, Marty, what's his face. That's stuff that I don't really delve into the knowing a lot about Kate Peter side of things. Oh, FCC Carville, she says, is being paid by Palantir. So I don't, that makes sense.
No, bad.
Yeah. So I don't delve into the researching all these people, learning everything about them, because again, other interests. But bad actor stuff is bad actor stuff. And no matter where it came from, she should not be publishing that on the internet.
Let me ask you a question. This is definitely part of this whole fodder. And I found it incredibly funny and terribly sad at the same time. Did you see the video that Kevin Lanahan, the stream that he was doing where his mom interrupted his stream? You haven't seen it?
I haven't. Hold on. Let me get Tiny Rebecca so she can be. Are you going to show it to me?
I've been looking for it the whole time that you've been talking, and I haven't found it. When I find it, I will show it to you. But I can act it out.
Oh, yeah. Act it out.
So I don't know if you know, but he always, when he does his streams, he holds a microphone. So he's always he sits back and it's just like, rah, rah, rah.
And there's like some Golden Girls furniture behind him, right?
Because he lives with his mom, which I didn't realize. But it was during the snowstorm, and he's doing his very serious Kevin Lanahan thing. And he's like, so anyway, Karen Reed, blah, blah, blah. And then he's like, what? Mom. And then she comes up. I don't even know if he says mom. Okay. Just to be clear, I don't know if he says mom, but it's the attitude of a mom who just walked into the basement while her son was in the middle of gaming with his boys. And apparently she walks up and he kind of shoves her off. And he's like, God, I'm working, Mom. you know? And so finally, and she's like complaining in the background, like, look at this snow. This is crazy, blah, blah, blah. And she like walks away and he comes back to the stream and he's like, it's like she doesn't even know. It's like some people don't even understand that you're live streaming when you're sitting here with a microphone talking to an audience. Like, Jesus, this is just like the FKR people.
Oh my God.
Like
this is just like,
but he was so mean to his mother.
FCC rules. It's against FCC laws to
What?
interrupt a live stream. That's what John DePietro said to Turtle Boy on the courthouse steps.
He was so angry with her. And like, God, this obnoxious woman is interrupting my very serious work. But I was just like, I laughed. And then I was like, oh my God, he treats his elderly mother like that when she walks in on him.
You sound like Napoleon Dynamite.
Oh my God.
God.
Yeah. God.
So
anyway, that happened.
Tiny Rebecca. See how much it looks like me?
It doesn't look like you.
It's a bobblehead. It looks like... No, it does look like me because Kevin had it made for me out of a 3D image of my head. It looks just like
I thought
me.
it was Lara.
No, it's me. My hair was a little shorter then, but he had it made for me. He gave it to me for my 50th birthday.
I mean, I guess it has your smile.
Yeah, because it's me. Literally.
Oh, yeah. So somebody was like, hey, Mel, the companion series to the Nightline special was so good. That actually, so that was called The Widow and the Wiretap, but that wasn't actually necessarily the companion series. That was like the full episode. That was the 30-minute episode. Yeah, that one was really good. The first one that they put out, which was sort of like a 15-minute thing, it didn't have enough stuff in it, but yeah, anyway. But I will find that video for you of our friend Plevin. And
you have to find it. I have to see it.
It is so uncomfortable and funny and sad all in one. I didn't even know what to do with myself. It's all over Twitter, but for some reason I can't find it. Okay, so that was the first bit of Karen Reed news. There was a lot more though. There's so much going on.
Yes, I'll run through the rest of the stuff. Okay, so there is a nuanced filing today in the O'Keefe versus Karen Reed case. The judge made a non-decision around this emergency restraining order that the O'Keefes requested. So a different judge, I believe Doolin or Doolin or Noonan. Anyway, Doolin
Noonan is from the Kelsey Fitzsimmons case. He's the cop that shot her. Doolin
had ordered that the NCDAO has to give Karen Reed her fucking phones back.
Yes.
Which they are only keeping because they want to get her for something. And because, in my opinion, they have likely already searched them.
Yes.
And there's something on there that they're just dying to use. So they were ordered to give them back. They obviously have not done that. And they're like fighting that. And then the O'Keefes in this civil case filed for an emergency restraining order to prevent Karen Reed from getting her phones back without really saying like who should have them. So they filed in the civil case in front of this other judge that now is in front of the civil case. And the judge then the criminal prosecutor came on. She's been very confusing. It's all very confusing. The judge seemed very confused, but they filed this. And today there was an answer, sort of. Now this is Judge Gildia. Essentially, one of the things about that emergency filing, though, I should say that everyone's talking about is that I did not get into this last time we talked about it, but at the top of their emergency filing, there was a quote allegedly from Karen Reed that said, "I'm dead. I'm fucking dead. Do you have any idea what's on the phone they took?" Now that quote, that clip was allegedly from the tape of a snippet of tape from Aidan Kearney's recorded phone call with Karen Reed, which was all over the internet. I have heard the tape. I didn't remember this particular line, so I didn't realize initially that it was misquoted, but it was misquoted. What she actually said was, instead of "I'm fucking dead," she said, "Again, a fucking again." And it's like, it's clear as day. Yes.
Can I just make one little point here?
Sure.
This is exactly what we've been talking about. This is a sidebar for me. This is exactly what we're talking about in the Pamela Smart case.
Drink.
Because you've got drink, everybody. I brought up Pamela Smart. We are seeing this in real time in this Karen Reed civil case filing. You are looking at people who have confirmation bias against Karen Reed, saying this is what she said. And that is not what she said. That's not what I hear. And maybe that's my confirmation bias because that's not what I hear. But I think it's pretty well established that she's not saying I'm fucking dead,
Right.
but that's what they quoted. And they
Right.
put this in a legal filing as if it was fact, and it is fucking not. And this is what, like, this is why you can't listen to a tape and read a transcript that goes along with it and act as if that transcript is evidence, because
Correct.
whatever side you're on, you're going to hear whatever the fuck you want to hear. Okay. I'm off my
In
soapbox.
my own work, when I'm editing a podcast episode, like for my day job. So I edited an episode yesterday that's coming out tomorrow. That's quite good, by the way. I never, so the producers always send me their mix, and they send me the transcript.
What's the name of the podcast?
Civics 101.
Thank
I
you.
always listen to the audio first without it. I had listened to it twice. I listened to the audio first without looking at the transcript. I take notes with timestamps on things that stick out to me, or things that are boring, or things I don't understand, or things that need clarification, or if there's a word that I'm like, don't use that word, that kind of thing. And then I listen to it again with the transcript, so that, because the other thing, what happens with the transcript is you end up reading ahead and you're not really listening. So then I do it with the transcript again, and I go through and I leave all my comments on the transcript at the appropriate points in the script, or I suggest rewrites, or I do whatever. That is, in my opinion, it's the only way I can do it. Other people look at the transcript at the same time. I don't think that you should do that. You have to experience it like a listener would experience it. And if something is hard to understand or whatever, like, if you're looking at the thing, you might be looking 2 paragraphs ahead and be like, oh, that's why he's saying that now, because he talks about it in 2 paragraphs. But if you're listening to it, you're just like, what the fuck is he talking about? And that's the important thing, because that's how the listener is going to experience it. 11 more likes for a Higgy comment.
11 more likes. Get it done.
So that's what happened. So this judge, he put out a ruling today. And the first time I saw it, it was Towel, Grant Smith Ellis, who, by the way, his mother is Wendy Murphy, a thing I did not know. Didn't know that. I mean, I guess I sort of knew that, but didn't.
You want to tell the audience who Wendy Murphy is?
Wendy Murphy is one of the foreheads, right? Or she's part of that crew. She's the anti-Karen Reed, one of those anti-Karen Reed people. I don't know if she's one of the foreheads or not. Anyway, she's one of the anti-Karen Reed people.
Now I'm really confused.
Wendy Murphy is an anti-Karen Reed person. That I know.
How could that person be his mom?
I don't know. I don't understand any of this. I don't understand any of it. I don't even. I knew who Grant Smith Ellis was a long time ago. The first thing I saw today was that he tweeted, and he was like, the O'Keeffes have lost their bid to get this emergency restraining order. Karen's going to get her phones back. And then I looked at the motion, and I'm like, that's not what this says. It's much more nuanced. So basically, what he says is they don't really have a reasonable argument for this, because, whatever. But the statements, as quoted in the motion, are concerning. So he sort of understands where they're coming from. Now, keep in mind, those statements are bullshit. It's not what she actually said. And then he says there's going to be a hearing on Friday, after which, if she gets her phones back. So I think he hasn't made like his mind finally yet. There's some debate about whether or not what this means online. Like Kouri agrees with me. Kouri Hopkins agrees with me. This is another lawyer who's like mansplaining to me why I'm wrong. But it pretty clearly says if she gets her phones back after the Friday hearing, then she will abide by the Massachusetts statute, which is not to overwrite, tamper with, delete anything, and you can't mess with evidence, which they had an agreement he would do anyway.
I wish someone had told Higgins and Brian Albert that.
Yeah.
Or Michael
Well,
Proctor.
they did. They were about to get their preservation order, and they knew they were going to get it.
They never got it. Oh, they never got it. They never saw it. It never came in the mail. It never came.
Come on now. Anyway, so it looks like they are probably going to lose that bid. Also, it's just very unclear whether or not it's in this judge's jurisdiction to even grant that, because this isn't his decision.
Who's going to lose the bid?
The O'Keeffes are likely to lose the bid to keep Karen from getting her phones back.
Yes.
But it's a murky situation, because this is not the judge in front of which the phone issue was adjudicated. But he does have, in a civil court, like restraining order ability. He has the ability to limit things. He has the ability to do stuff like that. So he's going to have a hearing Friday, which of course we will talk about. And
can I just say, comment from the listeners, Lauren Johnson. First of all, I love it that you guys, so many of you have your really cute ass dogs in your photos. Feel free to let us know their names and their breeds. I try to guess the breed. This one looks like a lab pity mix, but I'm not really sure. Lauren Johnson says, as a paralegal who has done non-certified transcription work, it is hard, all in caps, and it's a skill that needs to be done by a professional. The amount of inaudible that I put in was unreal. And
Inaudible.
that's the thing. Yeah, inaudible. So the issue is that and I'm seeing this come up a lot lately, and that's why I'm really, really excited about the work that we did. Here we go, everybody, on the Pamela Smart case. Drink. Because we worked with this professor, Dr. Marion Davidson at Loyola, who I interviewed her for my podcast because I started thinking about these transcripts and the wiretaps. The transcripts were never evidence in the trial. The transcripts were a guide to the wiretaps, and they were created by somebody that no one to this day can name who created them, except for Paul Maggiato, the prosecutor, said she was a secretary in the DA's office. Okay, so there's the first, Polly M. So I was like, well, if one side is creating these transcripts for tapes that you can barely hear, then they're going to be putting their own spin on it because they want to win this case. And so I thought, okay, well, there's confirmation bias. I'm going to talk to an expert about confirmation and cognitive bias. And that was Marion Davidson. When I started telling her about Pamela Smart's case, she was like, get the fuck out of here. I need to do a study. And so she started working with Pam's lawyer. And she did a study at Loyola that had 119 or 191, I can't remember, participants. And it's in the documentary. It's in the Nightline episode. You can see how she did the work with the students to do this study. It's a groundbreaking study that proves you cannot unsee what is on that page if you can't hear what is on a tape. And because of that, I am hoping that this study, once we get through this habeas process, I'm really hoping that this study that Marion did is going to help more cases. So in this case, and like what Lauren was just saying, people in the DA's office shouldn't be doing their own transcripts. They should be sending them out to have an independent third party do the transcripts and make a report. I also talked to a guy who does this, who certifies transcripts for court cases, who testifies in court cases. When Pam Smart's trial happened, when I asked Paul Maggiato, why didn't you certify the transcripts? He was like, no one certifies transcripts. What are you talking about? And I was like, Paul, buddy, come on. Don't gaslight me here.
Polly M,
gaslighting me. So in this case, even though it's civil, I think it could be useful, this study, but I also think it's useful in the Kouri Richins case because, again, today a video came in as evidence that there was some debate about and some back and forth about that they had to discuss outside of the jury. And the judge asked, is the transcript certified? Every judge should be asking that. So even in the civil case, when you are receiving, the one part of the story that I don't think we hit on is that not only was this filed and that there was a link to the transcript about Karen Reed.
Yes.
When you went to the link is missing. How do you make a file in court saying, here's the evidence we have, here's a transcript, and that file is now missing or it's been taken down? Like,
okay, this isn't true. So we're not talking about a trial transcript. We're talking about a deposition transcript or a wiretap transcript, or you have to pay somebody who is a certified transcriptionist. It's a lot of money. It's like it's a lot of money.
Thousands.
But that's who does deposition transcripts. That's who does, so it's not the same as the city employee or county employee court reporter. It's a different person.
That's what, and what's funny, that comment just came up because Paul Maggiato tried to pull the same shit with me. Not that the commenter was pulling any shit, but Paul, a prosecutor, was. He was like, well, I mean, yeah, of course, if you're talking about the clerk of the court, yeah, of course their transcript is certified. I was like, Paul, I'm talking about the thing that you guys used as evidence that wasn't actually evidence against this woman. Was it ever certified? And what is the name of the person who made it? He played dumb. And that's all I have to say about that, which should tell you everything you need to know. So hopefully this study that happened that Marion did helps in cases like this, helps in cases like Kouri's, helps in like the Faust case, anything like that. Any case where there is court reporters don't always do depositions.
They don't. Actually, my husband was going to have to pay a certified transcriptionist to do a deposition in the civil case that he was going to do. And it was going to cost so much money.
Yes.
Hold on. Do you mind if I just turn on some lights? Because I came up here, I ran up here, and it's all inky.
Yeah, of
So
course.
just give
I'll
me
keep
1 second.
talking.
I'll be right back.
Yeah. So I think that when a case hinges on a recorded testimony, whether that's audio or video, I think it's really important that if you're going to have a transcript that goes along with that audio or video, that transcript is certified by an independent third party, in order to be, and I don't necessarily consider it evidence either, but a judge may consider it evidence. In the case of Pamela Smart, it was not considered evidence, and he cautioned the jury that it was not evidence. But how is a jury supposed to look away from that piece of paper?
Yeah, they can't. You can't,
because they trust the process, because they trust the prosecutors to do the right thing. And if the prosecutors don't do the right thing, then they're swaying and they're biasing. The jury becomes biased. Anyway, soapbox done.
So somebody said that the lawyer, thinks that Diller, the case attorney, thinks he has a loser of a case. I agree.
Yeah.
I think this is a loser of a case, and he's definitely doing some creative lawyering. And he basically is doing not dissimilar to what happens in criminal cases. He's putting stuff out there to inflame the public sentiment because, that seems to be what's going on. And that's, what are you gonna do?
What are we talking about here? I don't know about this. Cosgrove also made a false transcript in the TB case. Do you know about that, Rebecca?
I don't.
No,
but I'm not surprised. I wouldn't be surprised if that were true.
Tell us more. Viva La Diva says, I feel so much pressure to get transcripts right. Context clues are so important. Research until we think it's right. Then there are 2 more layers of proofing at my firm. Interesting.
Yep.
Okay.
So can we move on to just a quick update in the Kelsey Fitzsimmons case?
Yes,
some other quick updates. Okay.
Yep.
So her motion to elicit evidence of inducements from Noonan, from the cops around that Justin break-in to her house, her ex-fiance Justin and his 3 friends breaking into their house, it appears to have been denied given a little filing we saw today. I'm not surprised by this at all, because I think the way that they went about this was, again, to put the information into the public domain. And I don't think they had any expectation of winning a proof of inducements motion, because the DA was very open and just said, we declined to prosecute. So, so that's
we declined to prosecute because Justin had permission from the cops to go into his house.
He did. Apparently he didn't. That's what, Bradle says he didn't.
House.
So I know.
His house.
It does, however, look like Fitzsimmons got some relief on her bail conditions, which they also requested. She won't have to now give 48 hours before she visits her lawyer. And other motions will be decided on the 12th. And the Commonwealth also filed a discovery list, which has a bunch of discovery that they have given to the defense, which includes basically criminal histories of like a ton of people, including her ex-fiance and some other members of his family, I guess. So people in that part of Massachusetts have a lot of contact with the police. I have no idea what's going on.
Not only that, though, we're seeing all of these cases across the spectrum in Massachusetts that there just seems like there's a lot of corruption happening in Massachusetts.
You think?
A lot. I mean, way more than I thought there was, because I lived there. I lived there for 13 years. I remember the drug scandal. If you haven't seen, the documentary,
How to Fix a Drug Scandal, is that what it was called?
Yeah. It's an Aaron Lee Carr true crime documentary called How to Fix a Drug Scandal. Go watch it. It's stunning and fabulous and amazing. And Aaron Lee Carr's my hero as far as documentaries go. And I knew about the overtime scandal. Of course, I knew about the busing scandals. Of course, I knew about, what was that case from the 80s where the guy said a black guy killed his pregnant wife and it ended up being
the Charles Stewart case.
The Charles Stewart case. There has been a lot of police corruption all the way up to the top, always in Boston.
Of course, there's the Trial 4 case.
The Trial 4 case. Oh, God, that
Sean
one.
Ellis
That was
case.
such a good documentary. Sean Ellis case.
I love that documentary.
Even in higher profile cases, Whitey Bulger, Aaron Hernandez, like all of these cases, I'm really getting freaked out, because it seems to me that going all the way back, like if we go back to like the Stewart case, which was the 80s, right? Up until now, it almost feels like all of those guys from the 80s, and I'm saying guys and I mean guys, I'm not calling guys and gals, I'm saying guys. All of those guys from the 80s trained all these people, and it's like this trickle down effect to where at Michael Proctor.
Yeah. Yep.
And
It's a
that's
culture.
fucked up. It's so fucked up.
It's like the Murdoch family. Like every generation got worse and worse and worse, right?
Yep.
I find the Murdoch family's story is so interesting. It is
Fascinating.
so interesting.
Have you read The Devil? I have to look at my books. Have you read The Devil at His Elbow?
I have not.
Okay, it's a true crime book written by, oh God, I can't see it. It's too far away and I need my readers to be closer. The Devil at His Elbow, look it up. It goes through the entire history of the corruption from way back, like Civil War, Murdoch's, all the way up to Alec.
Yep.
It's fucking fascinating. The grandfather that parked his ass on train tracks and killed himself by train and leaned out the window and waved at the conductor so his family would get the life insurance policy because he was already dying.
And also a Democratic stronghold, another one-party state, another one-party like part of the state where you know, it's like it's very much like the single party thing. Karen Reed was right. You have one party in control all the time. The corruption pervades. Speaking of corruption, by the way, if you want to learn more about the Charles Stewart case, there is a documentary on HBO. But what's better? So the Boston Globe did it, and the Spotlight team did a bunch of reporting on the Charles Stewart case last year. And they worked with these HBO documentarians, and the HBO made a documentary about it. But the Boston Globe separately made a podcast about it, and it is fucking excellent.
Oh, you're talking about you're talking about the corruption with the confidential informants?
No, the Charles Stewart case. They did one about the Charles Stewart case as well.
They did the other one about the confidential informants that the Spotlight team did was it was a podcast. It was astounding. They need to get all the awards for that podcast. It's so good.
It's called Snitch City.
Snitch City. Oh God, I loved it so much. You guys covered that. You reviewed that, didn't you, on TWO?
We did. We also reviewed the Globe, the one about the Charles Stewart case. So
I need to look into the Charles Stewart case one. Yeah.
You'll love it. You'll absolutely. There's some incredible tape in there of cops being just racist on tape. It's incredible. So speaking of corruption, wait, go ahead.
Can the DA be caught lying if the North Andover police disputes his version of their call to Justin? That's from Cinnamon.
Yeah, but who cares? Who cares? Who is going to discipline? Nobody. Right. He's not going to get fired.
Cops and firefighters.
And prosecutors. He's not. It's just going to be like, oh, I made a mistake. Scrivener's error, which is I'm sure what they're going to say about this Karen Reed misquote on that motion. So corruption. Yes. The Farwell case. This is the Sandra Birchmore case. Sandra Birchmore, of course, died about a year before John O'Keefe. She was a young woman living in Canton who had been sexually abused by a bunch of cops since she was 14 years old, groomed, had violent sex, rape because she was underage. And also that pattern continued into her adulthood. And I believe, she was a troubled person. I believe she associated violent sex with love at some point. Yep. She has all these text messages with Farwell. That's sort of how it bears out. So he's being charged by the feds in this murder case for murdering her and her unborn child, which turns out is not his, which she told him it was. And he filed a motion to dismiss the case, and prosecutors have now filed a response. Basically, his motion was like, your indictment doesn't detail why I'm being accused of this crime. And
because she was dead before. Something like that. It's something
because you didn't explain how I killed a witness or how it was the victim or a witness. That was the thing.
It wasn't that she was dead before. It was that they didn't determine if she was a victim or a witness.
Right. So basically the feds have said, you will find out in discovery why we're prosecuting this case. So this is a figment. This is a figment.
I have been hearing though that I think it might have even been Bob Motta actually, who, sorry, hold on. I'm so sorry.
What happened?
Our kid has been looking into religion lately, and on the iPad, she had some praise music that she was listening to. I'm so sorry. Anyway,
you've been dabbling with faith.
I think it was Bob Motta, maybe from the Defense Diaries, who was like, "This is actually they have a chance here. Yeah, like Farwell has a chance here. Yeah,
sure, he does have a chance, but I hope he gets prosecuted. It would be interesting to find out what happens in that trial, even though it's going to be a federal trial, not streamed, but I'm sure there'll be good reporting on it.
Honey Kid says I would put down money that it is Divine's baby.
It could be. I think it could be a number of people's, as it could be his twin brother's baby, although then I guess it would be a match to him too, because they probably have almost identical DNA. Finally, from Karen Reed Adjacent Universe, Mike Crawford, aka Young Jerks, was being sued by a guy named Harry Jean Jacques. I'm choosing to pronounce it in the French way. And this is a guy who sued him for defamation because he reposted and commented on a video related to a fight that Harry had gotten into at a conference. And he's like a weed advocate, basically. But he'd gotten into a fight at a conference, and the other person had made a video about him. And I guess Crawford platformed that video, talked about it. So this guy sued him for defamation. But apparently the lawsuit was written so poorly that he didn't even outline, like, where's the defamation part? Like, what did he actually didn't even say that he was a YouTube streamer or anything. Anyway, that case was dismissed, but not under the anti-SLAPP statute, which is the statute that protects journalists and so forth. It was just dismissed because it was his opinion. It was clear his opinion because he kept saying, I think, I believe, in his video. However, the anti-SLAPP claim not being the one that got it dismissed means that he won't get his attorney's fees and court fees paid for by the plaintiff. So that was my final story. And last thing I know, here I made, if you can see it, watch the Connor Story episode of SNL. It's fucking brilliant. That's my last note.
Yeah, what was that about? I didn't even know what you were referencing there.
So Connor Story is one of the actors from that hockey sex thing, Heated Rivalry.
Oh, Heated Rivalry, yeah.
He hosted Saturday Night Live, and it's a banger. It's a banger of an episode.
I saw some of the rehearsals for it, and it looked really funny. So
yeah, he has a great physical comedy sketch where he plays a stripper going to a bachelorette party, but he got hit by a car on the way to the bachelorette party. So he's like, I can't even describe it. You must watch it. Okay. Business time.
All right, we are an hour in, and I guess we should talk about Kouri Richins.
Yes.
We are on day 6 of the Kouri Richins trial. You were not able to join me for my 3-hour recap of week 1.
Thank God.
I know. We went through a lot. I think there was probably some stuff you missed. Mainly, the thing I'm going to have to catch you up on, and some of the audience that's here. So what people have been talking about, and one of the big things people have been talking about in this case that I have seen for the past months and years is the walk the dog letter. You said you weren't familiar with the walk the dog letter. Yeah.
Hold on one second. I'm sorry. Robert Devine is the former Stoughton deputy police chief who was also messing around with Sandra Birchmore. Okay. Sorry.
No worries. So I want to just give you a Cliff Notes version of the walk the dog letter because it is going to become very important. The prosecution is going to bring it in. They have been in pretrial motions. The judge said that they were allowed to bring this letter in part. So the letter stems from when Kouri's been held in jail before trial. And one day her cell was flipped by corrections officers. And inside of a book, they found a 6-page letter to her mother. And it's a 6-page letter that I recognize so well as somebody who's a little type A myself, but also somebody who, if I was in the situation that Kouri Richins is in, might have said the same things because you are trying to control the situation from inside of prison. That's what I'll say beforehand. I'm not excusing anything she said, and I'm not excusing anything she did. I don't know if she's guilty yet. I'm leaning toward she might be guilty, but I don't think that the state is proving the case.
I'm leaning towards she's likely guilty, but I don't think the state's doing a great job so far.
Yeah, well, we'll get into it in a minute, but let me tell you about the walk the dog letter. Oh, hi, Rubes. Do you want to say hi?
To her dog.
She did. Hello.
She always looks very surprised to be put on camera. She's like,
I know. Well, she's just waking up. She's like, you're waking me up and you put me right on camera. I don't even have my face on. What are you doing, Mom? Okay.
By the way, no expectation of privacy with prison mail except to your attorney.
Well, and it wasn't prison mail. They flipped her cell, and it was a letter that was inside a book. Now, that's part of what I would be arguing as well as her defense attorneys. It means that letter may never have been sent. I don't think it was ever sent because they found it in her book. So her mother may not have even gotten this letter. But the letter is it's been published because it's in the prosecution's files and in parts of discovery. So the notebook, the letter, let me pull it up here. Hold on. It's all handwritten. I read a lot of it. I think I read most of it on the stream the other night. Okay, so the content of the letter. The letter allegedly instructs Kouri's mom, Lisa Darden, to have Kouri's brother, Ronnie, testify that Eric Richins had told him he obtained fentanyl and pain pills from Mexico through workers at a ranch.
Mhm.
Now, on the surface, that sounds pretty incriminating, unless it's actually true.
Mhm.
And then Kouri's like, Mom, you got to get Ronnie to get out his phone and show it to the lawyers and show them that they got these drugs, that he got these drugs from a ranch in Mexico, right? So that's my first instinct.
Yeah.
It advises her mother to take vague notes before she goes to walk the dog, which is very strange. So she can remember
that code, or is that like really
No.
literally walk the dog?
No, like literally walk the dog. Vague notes so she can remember the instructions before you walk the dog, which gave the letter its nickname. It could have been a double entendre. Who knows? The letter outlines a scenario for the testimony suggesting that Ronnie, her brother, should say that Eric hid the drugs in his work truck, which was emptied shortly after his death, to explain why no fentanyl was found in the house.
Yeah.
It also tells her mom to instruct an individual named Lotto, I don't know who Lotto is, not to text her about shared activities like church or skiing trips, as it doesn't look good for her case. So the judge ruled, and that's just me paraphrasing this letter. It's 6 pages. There's a lot more detail. She actually does something that's really despicable, that I think, in the letter, where she instructs her mom how to basically make Katie Richins, Eric's sister, look bad in the press. And she's willing to use pictures of her own sons to do that. So that's part of it. I don't think the letter looks great for her, but here's what I'll say. If anything she's saying in that letter is actually true, to me, it sounds like, Mom, make sure my dumbass brother doesn't fuck this up. Make sure he gives this to the lawyers. Make sure he gets on the stand and he says the right thing, because it's all in his phone. Now, that's easy to find because they have Eric's phone. So if it is in fact in the phone, then I don't see that she's doing anything wrong. That's my take on it, right? So that's one big thing that I don't think you were aware of in this case, but it's going to come up. The state will use it, and the defense will probably tear it apart. I hope the defense isn't stupid about it, though. I hope the defense doesn't do some of the stupid tactics they've been doing, because I think they can use this letter to say the state isn't proving their case. And when I said I recognize letters like this, it's because I know, because I know Pamela Smart.
Yes.
And because I know Karen Reed.
And
I don't know her personally, but.
And it wasn't sent, because if it were sent, it wouldn't. I mean, are they alleging she makes copies of her own correspondence?
No, it's in a book in her cell. They found it. It obviously wasn't sent. But they're saying like, this is her basically planning stories. But what I see in the letter is her being like, everybody get your shit together. This is a game plan kind of thing. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yep.
So that's first off. So as for today, what else can I tell you leading into today that you don't know?
You can tell me who that lawyer for the defense is, who looks like a mother-in-law. She's spicy.
They all are spicy.
I
know everyone hates these women on the defense team, and that Ramos did some stupid shit. I have to find that video for you. On the first day of trial.
I didn't hate them.
I like them. I think they're doing their job. I think that because people hate them, it has more to do with the fact that they are loud, obnoxious, outspoken women. I think that's what
they
it
look like
comes down to.
mother-in-laws.
They do look like mother-in-laws. Wendy Davis. Yeah, you're right. TC.
Well, I have to say, you're saying she wasn't nice to the judge. No, she was. She was courteous. She wanted to be very. I watched her today.
Wait, who's saying she wasn't nice to the judge?
I don't know. I think she means.
Oh, Jen. Jen's dog Jonah. Okay, sorry. Go ahead.
Oh, got it. So I saw today the lawyer, the one wearing the bright blue. I don't know which one that is.
That one is Wendy Davis.
Okay, I saw her today being assertive and respectful in the same way a male lawyer would, and being like, I just wanted. That was that one argument in court, that one hearing in court, out of the presence of the jury, about the phone extractions, was so interesting, because she was anticipating the objection the state would have later. And she was like, so let's just make it perfectly clear that we don't need to have this in evidence to talk about X, Y, or Z. Because what I'm afraid is going to happen is that when it's my turn and I do the same thing, it's not going to be allowed. And she kept having to explain it. And I was like, that's exactly what she should be doing. It's exactly what she should be doing.
I mean, we heard those arguments from Alan Jackson in sidebars.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We didn't hear them. We're hearing them now.
No, we're hearing them now.
You know, we heard. That's what we heard.
That was pretty good. That was pretty good.
Thank you. That's my white voice
Lisa Lou says they are alleging that Kouri used it on video chat with her mom. I don't really care if she did. I mean, she can, if she gets on video chat and she's talking to her mom and she's like, Mom, Ronnie needs to step up and not fuck this up. That's what I hear. I hear, don't let my stupid brother fuck this up. If he has this information, if it is real, because that's the thing. All the defense has to do is get up and say, does Ronnie have those text messages on his phone?
Yeah.
If he does, then that's that. You know what I mean? So, yeah. I
also learned today that Eric wasn't a prince.
No, he was not. And that's okay. Nobody.
I'm upset. I'm upset with the hunting thing. Honestly, I looked at the charge. I have big feelings about people who break hunting laws. I really do.
I do too.
He basically poached. He shot an elk that he'd already used his tag, and he got his friend to. He said, I use your tag on this thing I just killed?" And his friend did it. And then when he says that the friend gave them evidence, it's very clear that they were caught. And the friend, that cute girl's husband, was just like, I have to tell you what happened because I'm literally talking to the Fish and Game people right now, or whatever, the feds. So the whole thing about hunting crimes is there are state crimes that are patrolled usually by the local Fish and Game. And then there are federal hunting crimes, which is when you transport across state lines, or you do, carcass laundering, or all this stuff. So it sounded like they were talking to the feds, but I'm not 100% sure about that. Anyway, he also was maybe having an affair with his coworker at the stonemasonry place.
Yes, he sounds like he was. They didn't have a great marriage. That doesn't mean that she murdered him.
It also doesn't mean she didn't.
No, exactly. But I'm just saying, like, innocent until proven guilty. Let's hear. I have some very strong opinions about the evidence that they're producing right now, and it's not selling it for me. Did you hear about this case? This is a little sidebar for a minute. Did you hear about this case about this fucking asshole who captured a wolf and was so proud of it that he taped its snout shut with
I don't want to hear anymore. I don't want to hear anymore.
Okay. Duly noted. He's a fucker. Okay. Moving on. I want to play this video for you before we go into our notes, because I think it's important. This happened last week. And this comes up today. So this is one of the defense attorneys were arguing. They brought this back up. Basically, in the middle of this testimony with, they call her the evidence lady. The defense attorney was like, we need to be very careful about our language. And so I'm going to ask you this question, but I'm going to ask you to use your language very carefully. And the question was about recorded calls between Kouri and other people. Okay. So that's how I'm going to set this up for you. And this is the testimony, and this is what happened in court. And this was brought up again today, and we're going to get to it in our notes. So hold on a sec. I need to share the screen. Here we go.
Look at you being all high tech.
I know.
We're streamers now.
Oh, we're something.
We have 78 likes. You know what that means.
Oh, shit. All right. Start putting your comments in the chat. Okay. Ready?
Mm-hmm.
All right. So this is the evidence lady, and this is the defense. I believe it was Wendy Davis asking her the questions, but here we go.
Court's indulgence for just a minute.
Of course.
Yeah, that's the mother-in-law.
Is another part of your duties, and I want to use our language really carefully here. So if you could match my language, that would be helpful. Okay.
Okay.
Were there calls between Ms. Richins and her family that you obtained recordings of?
Can you clarify?
On about a weekly basis there for a while, were you downloading calls between Kouri Richins and her family?
Are you talking about jail calls?
Your Honor, move to strike and need to approach.
You hear that?
The time there are
this came up today.
discussed with the attorneys at sidebar.
Yeah, it came up today in outside of the jury's presence. And so basically that happened last week. The defense attorney was pretty pissed off because should be a friendly witness to them, kind of. Not that it was their witness, but this woman was really great too. Don't get me wrong. The evidence lady was pretty great. But so that came up. We're going to cover that in our notes in a little bit. But starting off the day, let's see. I thought Bev took a lot of breaks. I thought Bev
every court takes a lot of breaks.
I get that, but this seemed like a lot to me. So we started the day off with some issues that we had to get through. One of the issues was that the defense was voicing concerns that the Dr. Christensen, who was supposed to testify today, and he did testify today, they had not had any chance to talk to him and figure out what was going to happen with his testimony. And that they thought that he shouldn't be called, basically. And the judge was like, well, let me give you an hour and then we can go deal with it. We can move the order around. And they
watched that 13-minute video in private outside the jury.
Yeah. So the first witness who was called was Christensen. And basically he's an now chief medical examiner for the state of Utah since 2016. He's now retired. So kind of boring testimony. There was a lot of boring testimony. I know.
No, there were a few that guy could make money making podcasts to help you sleep.
I know. ASMR. So here's the thing. The biggest part of his testimony, and I'm going to keep saying this every time they bring up a medical examiner or they talk to somebody who worked on the autopsy or did whatever they did. In my opinion, the crux of this case is determining how the fentanyl got inside Eric's body. And if the state cannot prove that Kouri administered that and put that in his body somehow, she is not guilty. That's my opinion.
Or she should be found not guilty.
I'm saying, in my opinion, if I were sitting on this jury, if they couldn't prove to me how that fentanyl got in his system and killed him and that Kouri wasn't responsible for it,
yes,
then she is not guilty. Even all of the circumstantial evidence.
The circumstantial evidence is what's going to get her. I do not think most juries can overcome this kind of circumstantial evidence. I really don't think they can.
Yeah.
I don't think you and I could, but I don't think that they can. I mean, they're going to see I was watching the chat in the trial today on YouTube. Yeah. And to the public, she's guilty. And these jurors they're just members of the public, right? So they don't have a nuanced approach to the criminal legal system. They haven't been immersed in it as much as we are. But I think that in Utah, I think a more conservative jury. So one of the things I said to you before we started taping was all of the coverage of this, including the blog that I follow today. I'll read you how it starts. I'll read you how this blog starts. Okay. The blog starts like this. Kouri Richins, a Utah mother of 3 boys, is accused of fatally poisoning her husband. ... You hear that lead? A mother of 3 boys. Yep. If she were a man accused of this crime, would it say, Ken Richins, a Utah father of 3 boys? No, it would not mention in the lead at all that he was a parent. So women are coming into these things already at a disadvantage because it is assumed if they are there and they did something bad, that it was so much worse than if a man had done it, because she's a mother. So remember, the jury is coming in with this kind of idea. This is a very traditional place. I think the circumstantial evidence is going to get her. I really do.
I know it's unfortunate because
I would place a bet with you.
We can place a bet. I'm not ready to place a bet yet because we're only into week 2 and I don't know what evidence the state has, but if they don't start doing something soon, they haven't made the case as far as I'm concerned. And I just want to apologize. I know I shouldn't have talked about animal cruelty. I'm sorry. I don't like to hear about it either. And I just want to apologize, Rebecca.
We paused it in time.
I'm sorry.
It's fine. We're live. It's fine. Shit happens.
I'm sorry. I know I was just talking off the cusp because it's been sitting in my brain because unfortunately I saw it. So, okay. So here's the interesting thing about Christensen's testimony as far as I'm concerned.
Nothing.
No, there was some really interesting stuff, I thought. Kouri called him, left a message for him. He called her back because she had questions about the autopsy. So that call was played in court today. That call happened a day after Christensen. I think it was a day after Christensen heard from the cops, or maybe it was the day after the cops contacted him the day after Kouri called him. She had a bunch of questions about what is this that was found in Eric's system. I don't understand. Explain these things to me. And basically, Kouri's asking questions about the substances. Christensen tells Kouri that Eric's overdose was probably taken orally or injected. He says people can die from even half the amount of fentanyl that was in his blood, that was in Eric's blood. Kouri also asked about the Seroquel, which is I can never pronounce it the other way, but Seroquel is an antipsychotic medication that was found in Eric's blood. Christensen said there was a lot found in his blood, but it doesn't really mean very much. I found that interesting because people have been positing online, and I don't know if it's true or not, and if somebody in the chat knows if it's true. Apparently, those were Kouri's drugs. Like, Kouri was on an antipsychotic. Very interesting. Christensen said he received a call from law enforcement the day before he had the call with Kouri, which means to me that they were already starting to look at Kouri. Maybe, I don't know. And then he went through counterfeit pills, which is what the state is trying to sell here between Carmen and Crozier. So Crozier is the drug dealer. Carmen was the go-between, the
housekeeper.
And what they're saying is, and what I found really interesting in last week's trial, which we haven't talked about, is Crozier recanted his previous statements. That was a huge deal. He's saying he never said fentanyl, as far as I understand it. He was thinking in terms of oxycodone. The interesting thing about that is that there was an oxy bottle found in the house that was never tested, and it had expired in 2016. So he's going through what counterfeit pills look like and what they do. And he basically says that oxycodone pills that are almost completely made of fentanyl are very common.
Yes.
So I found that really interesting. I don't know what it means, but I found it interesting.
Yeah, that's been going on since like 2013. These pills come in from Mexico via China, and they have, and the people think that they're taking the same oxy that their doctor gave them, and then they die.
Yeah, and he says there's no way to definitively know if Eric was a longtime fentanyl user. I found that interesting as well. So, and then the judge, I mean, I'll make some comments about our judge daddy. I think he's a really nice guy. He's super young. He is way on top of his shit. Like, he's training these lawyers is what it feels like. He's like, no, you're going to want to ask this. Like, you're going to need to use this word. And they're like, oh, sorry. And then they go and they use the word. I think it's really funny.
But he's explaining why. He's not just bevving it. Ask it differently. He's like, you have to do X because of Y. So he's also training the streaming audience. So that was pretty much it with Christensen. Did you have any other notes about him? Anything that was? I could not wait for him to get off the stand. That was my only. I was like, get him the fuck off the stand. Stop asking him foundational questions. We know. Get him off the stand. It was like watching those lab techs. It was like watching Lally testify. Couldn't do it. But I watched the whole thing. So
this is a good point, Jess. When they ask Amy Coney Barrett, our Supreme Court justice, about balancing a big family and a career, I don't like her, but was incensed by the question. Amen. Agreed completely on all fronts. Yep. Lisa Lou says,
what about when you get your period, Miss Barrett?
I know. What are you going to do? Are you going to be overly emotional on the court?
Are you and Elena and Sotomayor's periods going to sync up while you're making decisions?
Bob Mata's poll in his chat, 65% say not guilty so far.
That's because they're Bob Mata fans and they understand reasonable doubt, and they understand, like, from the defense perspective, this is a self-selecting group.
Yes. If he was a regular user,
I'm glad.
Wait, this is an interesting point. Kayla says if he was a regular user, he would have had tolerance.
No.
I actually do agree with that based on what this guy said. Because what because what he said was, hold on, I gotta find it. Hold on.
Yeah, but fentanyl kills fentanyl users all the time. So tolerance or not, all you need is a little too much and you die. Like, I live in New Hampshire, one of the most one of the places in the country most affected
Mm-hmm.
by
Yes.
the fentanyl crisis. And you can have somebody who's been doing opioids forever, using fentanyl in small doses.
Yep.
They get one pill that's too much, and you got to give them Narcan to bring them back to life because they
Yeah,
overdose
and
all the time.
And to reiterate, Christensen says there's no definitive way to know if he was a longtime fentanyl user or not.
Right.
And also, one of the things that the defense did in this cross, which I thought was interesting, is he said, "What would you change if you did this today, this autopsy?" And a very good answer from Christensen was, he said there have been so many advances in how to test for, blood, urine, all that. He said they would test eye fluid and liver. They don't normally test hair, but they could have if they wanted to. And he basically says, I wish we could have done that. We would have had more answers as to what happened to this guy, which I thought was a really good answer. Anything else you want to add about him?
No, move on.
Okay.
That's how I felt about him. I'm not talking to you. That's how I felt
know.
today when I was watching him on the stand. I was like, God.
So then we had to have a break after this because they were arguing about this 13-minute video that the state wanted to introduce. I didn't understand why the defense didn't want it introduced. I didn't understand why the state wanted it introduced. It doesn't tell us anything.
The gist from the defense's perspective was there might be questions about whether or not this guy had the capacity to give and then that isn't something that had been fully litigated. That was their argument essentially.
But he was in jail at the time.
Right. But was he high? Yeah, but it doesn't mean he wasn't doing drugs. People in jail do drugs all the time.
Right, of course.
So anyway, that was essentially the gist of it. And then we watched it and it felt like a nothing burger to me. But again, I'm not sitting on the jury. So maybe it was had a huge impact on them.
So the video was Crozier, who's the drug dealer, being interrogated by detectives. And basically, Sergeant Todd Davis tells him the blues he sold at a gas station a year ago resulted in death. Crozier said he didn't know about the death. There's not a lot here, but importantly, and this is where I'm like, okay, because last week, Crozier said that basically Crozier impeached Carmen because of his own testimony. Carmen said there were 4 different drug deals. The first one was with a woman named Susan, and that she had 3 with Crozier. Crozier says on tape in this interrogation, he only met her twice, and he only spoke with her a couple of times. So if Crozier is saying it only happened twice, like, they're going to spend the rest of the day trying to like really hammer the point home that Kouri asked for drugs from Carmen. Carmen went to Crozier. Crozier gave Carmen the drugs, and Carmen gave them to Kouri. I think we can all agree that happened. But there was nothing in the text messages so far as I have seen where Kouri is saying, I need these drugs to kill my husband. She asked for them for a client. And there was also testimony that she asked for them for sleeping or something like that. And I'm not saying that she would be that stupid to be like, I need them to kill my husband. But at the same time, we spent an entire day talking about this.
It's incredible circumstantial evidence, though. A jury will not care if she said 3 and he said 2. I'm sorry, they won't. They'll be like, that's a difference of 1. And everybody will be able to realize, like, have I been to that restaurant twice or 3 times? You don't fucking know. Like, that's just, that to me is 6 and 1/2 dozen of the other. This is incredibly damning circumstantial evidence, all of it. What is Crozier in jail for?
I believe drug dealing, but I'm not sure.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because if they think that he died as a result of drugs that were supplied by him, he could be charged with a federal crime, the death resulting statute. He could be charged with
murder. That's also the problem here is that these 2 witnesses have been pressured by these investigators to, I mean, did I tell you about the direct quote to Carmen?
I think so. From
the investigators, when he basically was like, listen, this is your get out of jail free card, but you gotta help us prove that she did. Basically, he's like, tell us that she committed murder and we'll get you out of jail. They say it on record.
But they don't have federal jurisdiction over that. So they were promising her a lesser.
Like, she's not in jail.
Right. But in the chain of everything that happened, she could be charged as an accessory or something, right? And
right, but they're doing the same thing to Crozier.
Of course, that's what they did to everybody.
Yeah, they're pressuring these guys. I mean, it's what, they're pressuring these guys, and they're drug dealers, and they don't have a, they're in programs, and they don't have a ton of money, and blah, 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 blah. So I'm looking at that. That's what I would be looking at. F.R. Smith says circumstantial evidence is still evidence. It is strong enough. There is no reason for it not to convict unless it was manufactured by the state, in my opinion.
You're not reading that right. You owe them a Higgy.
If
Here we go.
It is strong enough, there is no reason for it to what?
You owe them a Higgy.
Who?
You owe the people a Higgy. We have more than 75 likes.
Well, I have to go through and look at the random comments to see. Are you getting down, Ribs?
They have to make comments that you have to read in the Higgy voice. Yes,
like it has to be Higgy, like it has to be specific.
Got it.
If he was a regular user, he would have tolerance. I agree with that, Kayla. Unless he got bad pills.
It doesn't matter.
Seroquel is used off-label for anxiety. It's not always as an antipsychotic. Agreed. Let's see. His body would have shown signs of damage if he was a regular user, liver, etc. Was that described? I'm watching here. No time for the trial. Didn't the ME or toxicologist say a regular user might have slightly delayed fatal reaction? Yes. Exactly what he said was, hold on, I will find it. Christensen tells Kouri that Eric's overdose was probably taken orally injected. He says people can die from even half the amount of fentanyl that was in the blood. Is that the question?
They're saying if he have delayed reaction if he was a regular user. I'm telling you, with fentanyl, it does not fucking matter.
Yeah.
Fentanyl does not matter.
I don't know the answer to that, but I will find it out. Okay. Let me just go through a couple more comments. Is it common for real estate agents to get illegal substances for their clients?
So common. Sometimes. All the realtors I know. No, I don't know anything.
No, it is. It's not that it's common, but it definitely happens. Like, it depends on the conversations that came up between Carmen and Kouri and how they got to the place of drugs. And sure, real estate agents, I mean, because I was one for a little bit, real estate agents will do whatever they can to make their clients happy. And I mean, if you need to ask that, if you need to know more about that, just look at our current president.
Also, to know. It's common for adults to get each other drugs.
Yeah.
Like, you'd be amazed that people are like, how many people in your life are like regular hard drug users. Every time I find out someone's a regular hard drug user, I'm like, because I've never done hard drugs at all. I'm always like, what? But then I realize it's like a lot of people do drugs, and I got to get them somewhere.
Yeah. And Ashley says real estate agents get asked questions about the area, including where a weed man is. Yes.
That's right. I need my plug.
And then Ashley, wait, we're clicking on the same things, I think.
I'm not clicking on anything. I'm looking at my notes.
Ashley says, couldn't he have taken it himself? Yes, he could have. That's what I think that the defense is trying to establish. There's so many different ways that could have gotten into his system, and the state has no concrete evidence forensically of where the fentanyl came from and how it got into his body. That's a sticking point for me. He had an oxy prescription as far back as 2016. Agreed, Kayla. And that's what
who's prescribing him oxy for 10 fucking years?
Well, no, it's not that they're prescribing him oxy for 10 fucking years. It's that he had an expired OxyContin bottle from 2016 that they never tested.
If he was an OxyContin user and then he would be buying illegal pills to try to fill that opioid thing. That's what he would be doing.
And I think that's what the defense is trying to get to. There were also 3 specks of white powder on the nightstand that they never tested also. Like, what the fuck are we doing here? Thunder Snow Doggy Paws says, Mel, I like the background. Sorry, they were being mean to you yesterday. Thank you. They weren't really being mean. They were just, ribbing me. Okay, on to our next witness, which was like, for 2 seconds, Molly Crosswhite bought a house from Kouri Richins. There was really nothing to see here. I don't know what they were getting at for the state other than, I don't know. I really don't know why she was called. Do you know why?
I think they're going to, well, they basically, all I got from it was that she was sold this house that had been flipped, but it was still a shithole when she bought it. So I think what they might be getting to is some business thing. or is she using the house for some other purpose thing before, in between the buying and the selling?
Well, they got to do a better job. Because like,
no,
what a waste.
But no, they're just laying foundation now. So a
I
later witness might say something and they can, but if the jury didn't hear from this woman what the condition of the house was, then they can't speak to the condition of the house later. So it's all foundational.
Sorry,
we're talking about the cutie?
Allison, right?
Yes. I just got a cutie too.
Yeah, she was cute, but I had the hardest time watching Allison Wright, who works at the masonry company that Eric and her husband created together. I had the hardest time watching her because she was almost panting. She was so nervous.
I know. When I watch somebody nervous, it makes me so nervous too. I
was so nervous for her.
Her mouth was so dry. You could just tell like she had stage fright in a big way.
Yeah. So her hubby was Eric's business partner. So they hung out a lot, and she works for the company too. So they hung out a lot with Kouri and Eric. She also has known Eric since she was in junior high school. And,
there's some small town shit right here.
Yeah. Right. She was cute, but I was like, she was making me so anxious. I wrote a note that said all of the state's witnesses have been instructed to look at the jury. They all like randomly look at the jury. It's so awkward to me. But,
what was awkward, Mel, was when the lawyers were having a sidebar and this cutie was on the stand and she and Kouri just sort of had to be there, and they're sort of like trying not to look at each other. And whoever is running that pool camera, genius. It was like to Kouri, to her, to Kouri, to her. And I was just like,
yeah, because they used to be really good friends. They went on vacation together. And so there was a quick question at the beginning of her direct that was, she confirmed return checks to the business.
Yeah, that's just business stuff. So businesses, when they have a bookkeeper, every time they write a check, it gets returned to their bank. They get the check back and they put it in their book. Those are return checks.
But what was the point?
I think the point is going to have something to do with spending through the business. Like, so there are checks, and the checks were returned from the bank. So therefore they are legitimate checks. Like, they're probably going to come back to that for something later.
Got it. Okay. So the biggest part, the only reason she was on the stand was because the state wanted to establish that they had, before COVID, they had gone on vacation. Cody, who is Allison's husband, Kouri and Eric had gone on vacation. I think it was Costa Rica, maybe, or maybe I'm confusing that.
Costa Rica.
Retrial.
It was Costa Rica.
Was it?
Yeah, Aruba was Karen Retrial.
Aruba, that's right. So they went on vacation, and at one point, Kouri and Allison had a conversation, and Kouri was telling her how unhappy she was and how she didn't have any control of the finances, and she was really worried about, getting out of the relationship because she wasn't sure, how to take care of the kids, and he would, try to get custody and blah, blah, blah. They were talking about all this stuff. But what I loved about her testimony was Allison was like, she looked at the jury and she was like, Kouri is a really ambitious woman. I was so proud of her. She went back and she got her degree. She was independently financial. Like her finances were independent eventually. She was so great, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, this is not what the state wants out of this witness.
Yes. And she got her to talk about how much she hated her marriage. She was like, I had so much empathy for her.
I know.
I felt so bad. I know. I just found Kouri's Instagram, by the way. I wanted to see what he looked like since he has such a cutie wife. That's the kind of shallow person I am.
I know. I love it. I love that about you. So they ask for a sidebar. They get a sidebar. She actually has to leave the courtroom because they're like, this is prejudicial. This happened 3 years ago, 3 years before the murder. The judge is like, nope, sorry. She's talking about finances. She's talking about being independent. She's talking about blah, blah, blah. She's talking about the prenup, all this stuff. The prenup that said, just to reiterate for the audience, that if they got divorced, Kouri would receive nothing. But if Eric died, she would receive a lot of money until Eric changed the power of attorney and the benefactor or the beneficiary on his policy to his sister, Katie. Mm-hmm. So we come back, overruled, and immediately the defense gets up and she goes, so were you having this conversation with Kouri about how unhappy her marriage was before or after you found out that Eric was having an affair with a coworker? And everybody was like, oh, objection, blah,
So scandalous. Eric.
So scandalous. And Allison was like, and then she started to answer and she was like, I think it was before I found out. And they were like, objection. And the judge was like, hold on.
Foundation.
Then, Kouri was like, no, not Kouri. Allison was like, can you expand? Can you give me more detail? And she was like, like breathing into the microphone. And she was like,
So
can you
nervous.
tell me what you mean about what
I wonder if that hussy still works there.
What do you mean by an affair? And the defense attorney was like, what do you mean? What do you mean by an affair?
Right.
An affair.
I'm looking at that C&E
like,
website. Let's see if they have any staff pictures on here.
Okay.
By the way, they have a gorgeous home on the front page of the C&E.
Well, that's stonemasonry. I love stonemasonry.
I know. I don't see a about us page that would have that. And yes, it is just like me to be that superficial to go on their website and try to figure out who the other woman was. I'm sure they don't work there anymore.
Yeah. TC Nerd says, contrarian here, says Kouri is claiming to be a success when she was not. 4 million in debt is not a success.
I agree.
I understand. I agree, but I also think like for someone going back and getting their degree and really trying to get to a place of being independent, especially what we know of Eric is that he was raised LDS. It didn't seem like he was practicing, but he was in control of their finances. She didn't have any independence from him on that. And it sounds to me like she was really kind of getting sick of that lifestyle and wanting to have her own independence. So I commend her for going to school. I don't commend her for being $4 million in debt or forging her husband's name on documents.
It sounds very pyramid schemey. It sounds very much like those people, the Walshes. It doesn't sound great.
Yeah, exactly. They do sound a lot like the Walshes, actually. One person Ponzi scheme, Jess says. Okay, so anyway, that's what we got out of Allison, basically. There wasn't really a lot. There was another break after that, and I wrote, Jesus, this court takes a lot of breaks. Right, came back
the jury
on the
note.
stand.
The jury note. So there's a note from the jury.
I'm getting to it.
Okay. I thought it was because it happens now.
Yeah, I know.
Okay. I loved the jury note part. It was so dramatic. Sorry, my lips continue to be very dry.
So this woman's she's telling the jury how awesome Kouri is. Let's see. Okay.
And then their friendship ended because her husband ratted him out for violating hunting laws.
Yeah. So basically that's the other thing the defense asked was, okay, but you guys stopped going on vacation together. And it wasn't just because of COVID. It was because your husband ratted him out for violating hunting laws. And also Eric was having an affair. I think the defense is doing a good job, bringing these things up, but do we like this lady for murder? Ashley says, I'm out of the loop here. Do we like this lady for murder or not?
I do.
This is a crazy. I know. I think most of us like her for murder, but they have to prove it. I still believe in a fair trial. So
100%. 100%.
So after
a fair trial, it means different things in different places. I think it appears to me she's getting one.
Yes, well, to some extent. Okay, so housekeeping they dealt with in the court. Nestor for the defense, who is the slim blonde lady, was raising questions about the extraction of data from the cell phone. Nestor said the phone itself without the extraction can't be read. The extraction has the information, blah, blah, blah. So the next witness that's going to come up is a Cellbrite expert. And then Lewis from the defense brings up a concern about a juror note that was received about a juror having a business transaction with one of the witnesses. I can only assume that it was Allison.
It was the realtor. Yeah. So the judge said,
wait, what realtor?
It was the woman who bought the house the flip house. So they had purchased a house from her. Now, see, this woman is clearly a real estate investor as well, because she bought the house to be a rental. And I believe it was her. The judge said, we just got to know from a juror. And I was like, you did tell me everything. This is the only interesting part of the trial today for me. And basically a juror said, I knew that witness. I had a business transaction with her, blah, blah, blah. And then at that time, both lawyers said it was fine. But then before they went to the lunch, the defense was like, no, change our minds. It's not fine. Mistrial, please. I was like, that's not going to happen, kids.
Well, they were also asking for a mistrial over the video that I just played for you about the evidence lady and the jail calls.
And a late witness. They had a lot of reasons to ask for mistrial, and all of them were very
They did,
weak
and
pleas,
one of
in
their
my opinion.
witnesses recanted his testimony. There was a lot going on here. There's a lot of reason to ask for a mistrial. The judge says it's innocuous, the jail calls thing, and that the jury expects a murder suspect to be in jail, and so he denies
100%.
the mistrial. Yes.
Yeah, that was the issue. The issue was that witness said the jail calls, and then the lawyer's argument was it's prejudicial that the jury knows she was in jail. There's data that shows that people have been in jail. They are more likely to be convicted. That's true. That being said, if I were a juror, I would assume that a murder defendant had been arrested at some point and was maybe in jail. So he's not wrong.
The next witness was Jeff O'Driscoll. I wrote, "Oh, this is going to be spicy." And then he was on the stand for about 2 minutes. I think they're going to recall some of these witnesses. I know the defense is going to bring Driscoll up because he is a complicated character in this story, which we'll get to when he comes back again.
They're bringing Allison back too. They told Allison she's coming back.
Yeah. And so Jeff O'Driscoll is a detective who collected Carmen's phone. They didn't really have a lot of questions for him. I think he's going to be recalled. He's a little bit of a douche canoe, which is what I put in my notes. The next witness after that was Chris Kotrodimos. He is the owner of M20 Solutions. He has a long history with law enforcement. He evaluated all the phone records, and he's a Celebrite witness expert.
And it looks like Mayhem. He looks like the actor who plays Cassidy on SVU, aka the Mayhem guy.
Okay.
Dean Winters. He looks like Dean Winters.
He looked at 3 of Kouri Richins' phones. He looked at 1 of Eric Richins' phones, 1 of Carmen's phones, 1 of Grossman, who is Kouri Richins' boyfriend, and 1 of Crozier, who is the drug dealer. He is Celebrite certified. And he there was only, he didn't say a lot that we didn't already know. Basically, information cannot be manipulated or changed in the extraction, which is why the Massachusetts State Police shouldn't have accepted Allie and Colin's text messages that they photoshopped.
100% they should not have.
Because they are dumbasses. A report can show if calls and messages have been deleted. He used the Cellbrite physical analyzer, which is what was used in the Karen Reed case. He did not see any mass deletions on Eric Richins' phone. However, he did find a whole ton of deletions on Kouri's phone. But here's the thing that stuck out to me.
What's that?
And this backs up the walk the dog letter.
Okay.
He found text messages between Eric and Kouri regarding the THC gummy use. They had 3 different conversations about it. And that is hugely helpful for Kouri Richins, and it backs up the walk the dog letter. I am telling you right now, just because they didn't find gummies in his system, just because they didn't find THC in his system, does not mean he did not take gummies. And it also doesn't mean that he wasn't a regular drug user. And it also doesn't mean that he might have been taking oxycodone. He might have gotten fentanyl when he went to Mexico and got gummies. That is a realistic argument, in my opinion, if they are having these conversations about gummies, because one of the things that Kouri has been telling, one of the stories she's been telling for the past few years, and asking anyone who has any evidence of this on their phones or whatever to come forward and say so, is that she alleges that Eric used to hide drugs in her bags when they traveled, and he didn't care and he wouldn't tell her. So if she got caught or if something happened to her, he was totally fine with her getting blamed for the drugs. And then they would get to wherever they were going, and she would open up her suitcase and she would find the drugs, and a huge fight would ensue over this. If anybody has any of those text messages on their phones, Kouri is asking them to come forward. Here are 3 examples from the state's witness saying there were 3 text message conversations that brought up THC gummies between Eric and Kouri. That is a huge thing to me. Thoughts?
Yes, but I also think the THC gummies are a red herring. I'm sorry.
Sure. But it's not about that. It's about, it can be about that for you. For me, it can be a red herring, and it can also mean that there's reasonable doubt.
Potentially, yeah. but the defense really has to tell that story. That's my thing about this defense. They don't seem so far, although we haven't seen their case in chief. So We don't know. They don't seem like telling a good story is.
I don't think either side is telling a good story, honestly.
Prosecution is not. Prosecutors are so boring. Can I just share my screen for 1 second? How do I do that? Share screen.
Present or invite, go down to the bottom, share screen, and then you have to actually add it to the screen. You have to add it to the stage.
Add it to the stage. Okay. I want this. Share. Boom. There he is. That's who testified today. Who did the Celebrate search? No, just kidding. Right. That's Dean Winters, aka Cassidy, aka Mayhem from the insurance ads. But I was just looking at this guy. I was like, he looks just like Dean Winters.
Yeah. Chicken Lady says, agreed. It seems like she probably did it, but the state hasn't proven it yet. Kayla is saying, well, that's what I'm saying. There's indication he did both. And if he was hiding it, that is addictive behavior. I will bring up Auntie Diane again. Yeah, I'm going to agree with this. Shauna Parker, I think there's a fair bit of evidence to point to his family and friends pointing the finger at Kouri because they didn't like her. I mean, we saw that in the first couple of days of the trial when Katie, Eric's sister, took the stand and had I will call it a false memory about the morning that she found out that her brother had died and how Kouri reacted to her. And there was video evidence. And this is another place where the state has really dropped the ball with their witnesses, because it seems to me like they spent a shit ton of time prepping Carmen to take the stand to talk, because like she might have been their like key witness, but they didn't tell Katie that there's video out there that goes against what you're about to testify to. Like, that woman was so caught off guard by that video. That was such a shitty moment for her.
Yeah.
And it was great for the defense because they impeached her.
To be fair, though, that's a sign of a fair trial, because they're not supposed to tell witnesses what other evidence is going to be and what they're going to say. They're not supposed to do that. That's what they did in the Karen Reed case. Remember, it's like have Jen McCabe over to the prosecutor's office all weekend to prep her for her testimony.
They were allowed to do that, though.
They can there's certain things they can do and certain things they can't do. They certainly can't tell them what you say.
So, sidebar. I was listening to a sidebar conversation today about, do you remember Jen McCabe not telling anyone that she went to Lank's house with Carrie? Alan Jackson presented, you should go listen to this sidebar. It's during Jen McCabe's testimony. Alan Jackson and the team had gotten in private investigators or whatever they did. They investigated all of Jen McCabe's movements, basically. They are the ones who discovered that she went to Lank's house. In the state of Massachusetts, or in the Commonwealth of Massachusetts, apparently the defense is allowed to go and do all this investigative work and come up with all these ways to impeach the witness, go into their background, do all these things. But as soon as they get that information, they have to hand it over to the prosecutors.
Reciprocal discovery. Yeah. Yes.
But it's not like that in every state. So Alan Jackson was like, you guys dropped the ball here. Jen McCabe is saying on the stand that Adam Lally was in this meeting where Tully was asking her, wait a minute, you went to go see Lank? How come we didn't know about this? No follow-ups, no anything. Adam Lally during the sidebar is saying, I wasn't there. I don't know what you're talking about. I didn't find this out until later. And Judge Bev actually is like, what do you say for yourself, Lally? Why is this happening? Like, she kind of like went after him. It's a very interesting sidebar, but you can tell that Alan Jackson is really like blown out of his mind, that he even says, we went and did all this work and then I just have to give it to them and they get to go prep their witnesses to tell them everything that we're about to impeach them with. That seems wholly unfair. I agree with him, but I think it's also the way it works there.
It's the way it worked in that trial, for damn sure.
Yeah.
All they're supposed to say, now granted, this isn't what happens. All they're supposed to say is, let's go over what I'm going to ask you and you're supposed to tell the truth. Like, that's the right way to do it.
Yep.
Yeah. It's at the discretion of the judge how much reciprocal discovery has to happen. But the ethical reciprocal discovery in Boston is defendant's counsel to the prosecutor. It's Rule 14, as we know. It's about who they're going to call as witnesses, exhibits they're going to show, and reports, etc. So, yeah. But I think it's at the judge's discretion to what extent that they follow that. So. He is very dramatic. No one is giving you any Higgy quotes.
I know. I haven't gotten any Higgy quotes. We've gotten all the likes, but no Higgy quotes. So I guess we will see what happens with that. Okay, so no mass deletions. A lot of deletions from Kouri Richins' phone. She had a burner phone, obviously, where there were a lot of messages between her and Grossman. Thousands of messages
Grossman
between
is the
her.
handyman that she had an affair with. That then
I don't know if he
became
was a handyman, but she definitely
all
had
the
an affair with
all
him.
the reporting I read today said he was a handyman, and
No,
that he
that's
was,
great.
and that she then evicted him, and then he was homeless and living in his truck.
Oh, right. Yep, that guy. Thousands of messages between Kouri and Carmen, all deleted. They only have the records from the Celebrite of the text messages that were made, but not the actual content. So it sounds like the actual content is gone. That's the way I read that. So we've now, this is my note. We have now confirmed 5,000 times that Carmen got drugs for Kouri Richins, and it's not evidence of administration of fentanyl. Still, at the end of this day,
it's circumstantial, though. That's evidence.
But the thing is, they established it on the very first day.
But they also have all the phone calls between her and Carmen that match up in the movements that match up with the pattern of her obtaining the drugs for her. I mean, he died of drugs, and she got drugs. That is a kind of clear, that's like a nice little pattern chain there.
Okay.
If I were a jury, I would be
he died of drugs and she got drugs, and it's apparent that he already had drugs.
Is it?
I think so.
Fentanyl?
Who knows? They never tested anything to know.
Yeah, true.
That's the problem. They didn't test anything.
I'm not trying to be doubting Thomas. I'm just telling you.
No, you can. I'm just being, I'm being very passionate about this because, again,
I love
a man has died and a woman is on trial for life. We have to be concrete about this. That's why circumstantial evidence is great, but it has to be really, really, really good circumstantial evidence. And then I wrote another fucking break. What the actual fuck? Do you know how many naps Bev could have taken in a court day like this?
She could have filled her Yeti cup with so much wine, her Stanley cup at this point. I have the same Stanley cup as her, you know. I have the same one.
Yeah. That's all I have for notes.
I'll bring you to the next taping.
There was quite a bit more where they literally were just going through movements and cell phone data and all of this stuff. But yeah, that's where we ended up.
I think circumstantial evidence is strong. Mm-hmm. And I think that the movements, the deleted phones, by the way, they obviously didn't have the feds looking into this case because they didn't have the all the stuff from like the carriers and stuff that we had in the Karen Reed case. I think that the number, I mean, how many of you, I mean, I delete text threads. Like if I just,
I delete things all the time. My phone gets overloaded with voicemails.
But do you delete specific texts in specific threads?
Oh, not specific. Well, do I? No,
I don't.
I would say that I do like bulk deletions.
I have a friend who sometimes, for reasons, will send like
for reasons
really awful text messages. Trust me, it's for reasons. I love this person very much.
Is it the same person that I know?
No. And I like always want to approach that with like generosity and kindness because I know they're doing it for reasons. And later though, I have to delete those specific messages because I can't look at them.
Yeah. The other night, I mean, speaking of people saying dumbass things, the other night when I was on Newslight last week with Ellen and Thomas again, Ellen announced to the world that she'd had sex with both of us, which is not true. And I was really hoping that Lindsay wasn't listening. I was like, the look on my face, I was like, I cannot believe you just said that live, but she did, So our friends say stupid things. If you looked at my Google searches, I'd be in a whole lot of trouble because I work in true crime. I'm constantly like, how long does it take?
Her Google searches seem bad though. They seem bad.
Yeah.
She Googled the prison. She Googled, her Google searches were bad. Hold on. I have it right here. I have it. Hold on.
Do you think that she started Googling? Did she start Googling that before or after she was considered a suspect?
Well, she Googled it before. I thought she Googled it before he was dead. Hold on one second. Hold on. phone. Blah,
Maybe
blah,
she was
blah.
Googling it because she had forged his name on documents, or because
No,
she
no,
was
no,
$4
no, no, no.
million
She was
in debt.
Googling. She was Googling worse stuff. Hold on. Let me see.
Okay.
I have it here. This blog is great. This blog is so good.
Are you talking about the guy from
Yes,
Toledo?
he's
yeah.
No, the East Idaho news guy. He's so
yeah, I love him.
earnest. Okay. Web searches on her phone include: can you delete everything on an iCloud account? Can deleted text messages be retrieved? Utah
She was
prison.
having an affair.
Woman, Utah prison. How to completely wipe an iPhone clear remotely. Can cops force you to do a lie detector test? Can probable cause be testimony? What are you allowed inside Utah jails? Will life insurance pay if death certificate is pending? Luxury prisons for the rich in America. What is FBI analysis of electronics? And more.
I mean, she was doing a lot of shady shit. She was doing a lot of shady shit. She had reason to look that shit up, you know?
Yeah.
But anyway, yeah, I think that it's an interesting trial. I am very interested to see the defense's case. They're a little bit of a shit show. They're really funny to me. I think that they do some good things. I think they are fighting for their client, which I love to see. I think the state isn't doing a great job. Some of their witnesses sound like they're more on Kouri's side than they are on the state's side, including the drug dealer, not Carmen, but Crozier. I think that once
nervous woman today reminded me of Karina Kolakithis.
Oh yeah, a little bit. Yep.
Yeah.
Like, I really like her. I don't think she did anything wrong, but she, I thought she was like cool and ambitious and intelligent and blah, 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 blah. I do think that when they get to the detectives, it's going to get very difficult for the state and very murky, because those detectives definitely threatened witnesses. Like I covered it in the recap. I don't think you and I went over it, but one of the witnesses that they threatened, they were like, hey, he put this in a text, bunch of friggin' idiots. If you don't come and talk to us, the next time I see you, I'm showing up on your doorstep with a warrant and a pole snatch or a pole whatever for your dog. Yeah.
I don't like that.
That's what he said to her. Like, if you don't come and testify, if you don't come and tell us what you know, we're showing up with a warrant and we're going to take your dog. Those fuckers. Anyway.
I'd be scared about my dog being taken than anything.
Yeah, me too. So that's where we are for day 6. I hope that tomorrow is more interesting. Although I think we did get some really interesting tidbits today. I will for sure be back tomorrow night. I'm not sure if you will be able to join me, but I will check in with you to see if you are available.
If I'm available, I'll be with you.
I'm going to try to find some stuff to put on my walls. And what else? Do we have anything else? You know what? Go join the Facebook group. We have a private group for Something's Off with Rebecca Lavoie and Mel Barrett. Maybe it's the other way around.
You owe people some Higgy. You really do. You promised.
Oh, who did I get a Higgy comment?
No, but maybe you could just like read this like Higgy.
Hold on. I feel like there might have been one. Hold on.
Well, how about this one? I know this isn't a Higgy comment, but some of them could be.
Okay, wait. No, we actually had some. Oh my God, she is something. Higgy, if you don't ask, you don't get it. I don't know what that means, but also Higgy, now is the winter of our discontent, Karen. You're wicked fucking hot, but now is the winter of our discontent.
You got to do that. When Karen goes to his house.
Okay, this chapstick lesbian is out of here, because I gotta go watch my lady go play in a tennis match and kick some ass.
Kevin got me some manicotti from our local. So
I'm so hungry. I love you, Rebecca, and I might see you tomorrow. I might not, but I will see everyone else tomorrow, probably around the same time, 6 p.m. And we are in it to win it with the Kouri Richins. I love this debate, though. I think this is what jurors should be doing anyway. We should all be talking, like, this is how jurors should be talking about this case.
Yeah.
So
you should be in the jury room saying, but they didn't prove she did it. And the other jurors should be saying, like me, it looks really fucking bad, Mel.
But they didn't prove it.
They don't. All they have to do is make the jury think it happened. Proving it to you is very different than proving it to 12 random Utahns.
Stop being so emotional and look at the facts.
They need to stop being on their periods, and they need to
Don't you have some children to care for? Why are you sitting in a jury box? Shouldn't you be at home with your kids making a sandwich for your husband? God damn it. Go to church. Love you, Rebecca. Bye.
I love you too. I'll see you later.
Bye.
Bye, everyone.